So I know that many of you, if this video gets posted, don't know who I am. But I'm making this video because Gavin has recently uploaded a video about his and mine and some other friends' experience at the Oak Ridge Quarry. Now I'm going to preface this by saying this is not downplaying that video at all. I think it's well made. I think he did a great job. I really just wanted to take a deeper dive, specifically on what we heard at the quarry. Further more than what he did, although he did a wonderful job. Gavin, if you're watching, brother, you did an amazing job. I just wanted in this video to take a deeper dive because I was just like, you know what, why not? You know, I'd rather figure out maybe more right now and then, you know, see what happens. But yeah, so that's what this video is going to be. And so I guess we're just gonna get started. So I think I'm gonna start with an overview of what exactly happened that night and the events post that, if that makes sense. So really, this idea about we were prefacing it as like a haunted tour of Oak Ridge, or I think that's what Gavin was prefacing it as. So we were like, okay, yeah, let's do this. Like, when are we gonna do this? And so the trip had been a long kind of planned out thing that we wanted to do earlier in the summer, but we couldn't because of, you know, everyone's schedule. It's really busy and whatnot. So we were like, 2 weeks ago, we went to Zaxby's. Some of the boys went to Zaxby's and we're like, okay, let's just make a date to where we're gonna go to Oak Ridge and have this haunted tour. So we did it. And so it just happened to be this past Sunday that we went to Oak Ridge and did the haunted tour. Now, really, the events that led up to it aren't really that. I mean, it really was the quarry itself that really was the most important thing. But I'll touch on the other things as well. So we first of all went to the trestle, which is like a bridge, like an old railroad bridge. It was really fun. And we went across it and we went underneath it, and there was like some rotaries. If you see the video, you'll see that in there, and that was super fun. Then we went to a 1700s graveyard site, which was really cool. That's also in the video. So I'm just kind of doing like as time goes on of it, you know. So then we went to McDonald's for dinner because we wanted to do a faster dinner because Gavin said that if we have more time, then we can go to another location. So we ended up just getting something really fast. So once we got that, we went to an abandoned building, which unfortunately was boarded up. So we couldn't exactly go into that, which was a bummer, but it was still cool. And then we went to the church, which was pretty fun. It wasn't, I wish we could have gone inside the church, but unfortunately the doors were locked. So that was unfortunate, but it was still a cool experience nonetheless. We had some ghost activity there. But really what I'm going to really focus on in this video is the quarry. The stuff that we've heard specifically, as I said before, at the quarry that night. So before we even got to the quarry, and Gavin said this in his video, before we even got there, we did see a deer and a coyote just walking. They were like together. Now for me, I saw the deer and I think I saw the coyote, but it was hard to tell because I was driving, so I wasn't gonna pay attention to that a lot. But the other boys said that that's what they saw, and I believe that's what they saw, and I believe that's something that I saw as well, just not as clearly, you know. And so we saw that right before we were really close to being there, but we saw it right outside. It was like in the woods. It was like a clearing, and the parking lot to the quarry was just like, if it was right here, the parking lot was like right here. So we made it to the quarry, and we rushed outside. We rushed out of the car to go see if it was still there, the deer and the coyote. Of course, it wasn't there. I mean, that would have been too good to be true. But it kind of spooked us a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit, because it's like, why isn't the coyote like eating the deer, or why are they actually, it arose aroused, I guess, it aroused some questions that we couldn't explain, and we had. So that was kind of like the first thing that was like, oh, it was a little strange, you know. So we got to the quarry. It's like I don't know how long it is. It felt like a little less, like maybe like a half-mile trek to the actual water, the quarry water. And so we made it there. I mean, it was pretty, it gets pretty dense in there, and it's I mean, in the daytime it's not that creepy, but once it hit dark, it was just absolutely terrifying because it was so dark. The trees were covering, I mean, there was parts where the trees were covering up around the trail, and mind you, the trail was like, you could fit a car into it, so it wasn't like a small, like, squeezed in trail. It was pretty large, but everything around you was so dense that it was just like there was two walls here, and you were walking right in between the two walls. So it was kind of intimidating for sure, when it got dark at least. So we made it to the quarry. We did some sick jumps as said in the video, and I'm just trying to go past this a little bit quicker because I know Gavin already went over this stuff in his other videos, so I don't want to say over the same things. But we did some sick jumps, and we swam in the water a little bit, and we were really waiting till sundown to, you know, get started with the whole hunt. So it was pretty fun though. It was a really sick place to be. So then it got dark, and I have to say that it really only got dark. I think we started maybe going around like at 9:15. I'll have to say the hunt really didn't last that long because of the events that took place afterwards, or during, I shouldn't say afterwards, during the hunt. Because once we heard and saw what we saw and heard what we heard, we were out of there. We were not going to stay there to be attacked or possessed or whatever by whatever was in those woods. So the sun goes down. Well, the sun it's set. It's in the middle of setting when we start out, because we're going to go to the gravesite. That Gavin had said that he said there's actually multiple graveyards, I think, is what he said. And so we were going to one of them that was kind of like halfway, I think, down the trail, I think. So we're walking back, and so mind you, it's just a straight shot down. It's got some curves, but it's pretty much straight down to the parking lot, to the quarry. But it's so long that you can't really see the end, obviously. And so like halfway down, there's like an intersection. There's a sign right here, and then there's a road that curves like that. And so up this road was the graveyard. It was kind of tucked in around a bank, and the forest. It was kind of just up here. The forest was right here. The trail was right there. So anyways, it doesn't really matter. But we were getting closer and closer to that when Gavin was like, hey, look, like, look over there, like straight ahead of us. And so it was about, I don't know, 50, 60 feet, maybe. It's hard to, I'm bad at like depth-wise, like I don't know how long it actually was. But it was a little bit of a distance. But it wasn't too much that you couldn't see anything ahead of you. But at this point, it wasn't completely dark. It was getting to that point where the sun was about to set, but it was in the woods, as they're huge and covering, it was pretty dark in the woods. And so he was like, look. And so he turned on his flashlight, and what I saw, because I'm only going to give my experience because I can't really say anything for the others, but what I saw was two legs lower to the ground, and I saw it like this. It was like they walked off into the woods, and it was like they disappeared. Once you saw them off the trail, it was like whatever it was disappeared like nothing. And it was one of the scariest things I've ever seen. Now, I've only saw the black part of it, mind you. I didn't even see the whole thing. But from the video that Gavin posted, I think you really should go watch that first and then come to this. But Gavin has this whole explanation of what he saw, and I believe it. And that's I couldn't imagine seeing the whole thing, because that would have terrified me even more. I think Micah and Gavin were the ones that really saw it. I saw the back, and I don't think Matt saw any of it, but that was what we saw. And so that spooked us. That was like, oh gosh. Okay, that was pretty scary. Like, that was pretty unexplainable. Now, of course, you're probably like, well, maybe it was a coyote, maybe it was a bear. Yeah, of course, maybe it was. We don't really know. But from what Gavin saw, it was definitely not none of those things. And especially from what we heard, really changed. I think it will change your mind about, oh, maybe it wasn't exactly that. So, once we saw that, we were spooked for sure. I mean, we were a little bit jittery, but it was kind of exciting, you know. It was like, oh, we didn't really expect to see, but we saw something, so it was like, okay, that's pretty sick. But we were a little on edge though. I mean, like there's something out there, we know. So anyways, after we saw it, we went past it. And what was weird though, for me, I'm like, well, wouldn't we have heard something in the woods? Something moving, cracking branches, you know, something. But really, you didn't really get that. We didn't really hear much. After it left, because especially the crickets and the cicadas were crazy loud, especially in that moment. And it was so weird, and I'll touch on this a little bit later too. But the cicadas in that moment were so loud. It was crazy loud. Like you could hear yourself talking to each other, but it was super hard to tell. So I'm also saying that in the videos they are super present, and it is definitely harder to tell or hear what we heard. But I'll tell you what we heard was very clear at the time. Even with the crickets and cicadas, they kind of hindered it a little bit, but for what we've heard, it was clear as day. So after we saw this creature, we don't know what it was. We decided, okay, let's just we're gonna go to the graveyard. Gavin got his spirit box. I'm not really gonna touch on the spirit box because Gavin really did that in the video, and I thought he did a good job on that. So I'm not going to really touch on the spirit box. I'm going to talk about what we heard. Although I think the spirit box is connected to what we heard, but I really want to focus on what we heard. So we're making it to the crossroads. Really, it's a three-way. It really was like a three-way road. So this was like two this way. It was to the parking lot, and then underneath, like whatever, a three-way street going that way was where the graveyard was. So we made our way up to the graveyard, and so we were gonna do some spirit box stuff, some filming, and then for me, what I heard, which I remember, after I watched his video, I remembered, okay, so what I heard was like a frog. I think it was a frog. I thought it was like a croaker frog, but I was like, well, I didn't really see, I don't know if there was I didn't hear, especially at the quarry, like, we didn't hear any frogs, you know, especially even when it was getting darker, there was no frogs present, so it was a little weird. So, I don't think what I heard was a frog, obviously. And so I was like, shh, hold on, you know, like, be quiet, guys, be quiet. And so we listened for a second. We were like, oh, I don't know. And you can see in the video, there's like, okay, so the road's over here. The road's this way. There's woods right here, and then gravesite woods. It's just woods on both sides, and then the road's right here. So we were like, oh, okay, maybe that was road signs. But then Gavin was like, hey, everyone turn off the lights. Everyone turn off the lights. Because we heard something again. I heard something again. And I think I'm going to put this in the video about the clip that we heard. And I'm not going to tell you, I'll preface this after you watched it, after the video's played, what I think I heard and anyways, but what I heard, yeah. So this that I'm about to show you is the first video proof of what we heard. Now I would encourage you to bring what I do. It's super, you have to really be listening because it is super hard to tell. But what I would encourage you, if you do have these, I would use a plug-in headphones like so that you can plug into your phone, and then if you have headphones like this, put it over that, and you can really, it's easier to hear what we heard that night. So I'm just gonna let the video play, and then I'll do a little debrief after. Enjoy. Okay, no, that is that way.
That's the road.
So that's at the road. But I swear to God, I heard something this way.
Okay, lights off, come over here. Turn your headlight off real quick.
Fucking hell. It sounds like shit.
Oh, hell no.
What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Bro.
Oh, hell no.
What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Bro.
So, I don't know if any of you guys heard that or not, but if you did, what do you think it is? I want to see what everyone else thinks it is, because I'm curious to see. But if you didn't hear it, I encourage you to go back, try what I said before. If that still doesn't work, it's okay. But that's the best way, in my opinion, to hear what we heard. Now I've just recently watched the video a couple more times to just really hear and listen and be like, okay, what step by step, what did we hear? So from what I remember and what I heard last night or 2 nights ago, so this is what I heard during that video that I just recently watched again. So I heard 2 low growls to begin with, right after Matt was speaking, the guy that was speaking in the video. Right after that, I heard 2 low growls. They're very hard. Those are the hardest things to hear, I think. But I heard those growls, followed by a higher pitched scream, some sort of scream or roar. I think it also could have been an ancient Native American flute or didgeridoo. Those are some of my theories on what we heard. Then followed by a horse running, which that's probably one of the most noticeable sound, the horse running. And then followed by some sort, I think, of a Native American flute or didgeridoo again, to end that short video of what we heard. So yeah, that's the first video. Now, at the time, what I thought it was some sort of Native American tribe that was hunting whatever the creature that we saw. That's what my thinking was right off the bat. And also to preface this, that I didn't preface this because I mean, you see the antlers that I have back here and you're like, oh, what is that for? It would make more sense if you saw Gavin's video, but what Gavin thought that, well, it's since changed, but he thought that maybe a Wendigo or Skinwalker, or, I mean, first we were thinking it was a Wendigo, or he thought it was a Wendigo. I think maybe it's still a Wendigo, maybe a Skinwalker. It just kind of fluctuates, but that's why I have these antlers in the back, because Wendigos are known to have like they're going to a form of a deer, and have like a more modernly like a skull, a deer skull with antlers. But that's just a little bit. I just wanted to do that. We don't know exactly what it was. Gavin says in the video that he thinks possibly Skinwalker, possibly a science experiment that got out of Oak Ridge National Laboratory. And so I do think that those are definitely possibilities. But Wendigo, I think, is also a possibility as well. Because what I thought was happening was they were hunting the Wendigo. Because I have searched this up. I don't know how true this is, but I've heard that there have been Wendigo hunters that would hunt these creatures. So that's definitely one that maybe I thought that there were ghosts and they were hunting the Wendigo. I don't know if that's necessarily true, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But also, I do think from what we heard from the spirit box, that what Gavin said, that it was someone trying to warn us, which I definitely think could definitely be, it's definitely very probable. So those are like the two, you know, I'm not sure which one. I think they both are very, like, it's just very, we don't really know. But I do like Gavin's explanation of it. I think it is a good explanation. So those are kind of my two beliefs that could either be that or that. Could be something totally different, but from the evidence that we got, that's my two conclusions. Either it was Native American ghost tribe hunting the Wendigo or Skinwalker or whatever it was, or it was someone trying to warn us about whatever the creature was in the forest, because the spirit box was kind of warning us with some of the words. If you go back and watch the video, you can see during the time that we were at the graveyard, it kind of let us in on some information that definitely could be seen as a warning. So yes. So this is the second video that we captured. This one is a little bit easier to hear, I think, overall. But again, I would encourage you to have your wireless, your earbuds, and then with headphones on top. But this one's a little bit faster too, so I'll play this a couple times as well, and then I'll come back and, you know, tell you what I think it was. Yeah.
No, I heard it said, "Let us leave."
Play it again. Who the fuck is playing that? Who the fuck is playing that?
What the frick is that? Go. No, I heard it said, "Let us leave."
Play it again. Who the fuck is playing that? Who the fuck is...
Okay, so as you maybe heard in the video, it sounded again what I think was some Native American flute, didgeridoo, some kind of instrument that sounded very like Native American-ish, I guess, maybe. That's just what I heard. I would like to hear if you guys have anything. I'd love to hear your ideas, but that's kind of what I'm thinking it was, and that's definitely a little bit shorter, but it was I think it was very clear for that video at least. So yeah, that's the second clip. Again, this was just right after we had that pre-experience with the graveyard, just right before. This was like a couple minutes after that happened, so it was very close together. So now that we have these two out of the way, so at this point we're pretty spooked. We're pretty like, okay, this is insane. Like, we did not expect to find any of this, and now that we've heard and seen something, it really terrified us. And if you saw Gavin's video, and I keep referring to Gavin's video, you should definitely go see it. But gosh, I mean, we were making, like, I know it's like you have to take a word for it, like, but we promise you, we did not set any of this up. Like, I know you have to take my word for it, but like, honestly, I mean, we really didn't. But anyways, so we got out of the graveyard. We were like, no way, we ain't doing this. Michael was freaking out, I was freaking out, everyone was freaking out. It was just like, oh, well, Gavin was like trying to calm us down, actually. But we were terrified. So we were gonna get out of there. We were like, okay, we can't stay here. I mean, this is not good. Like, that's not good. So we made our way down from the graveyard, down to the intersection road. We almost made it all the way back, and the guy was like, I'm gonna go back. You guys calm down, get down there, stay there, I'm gonna go back. We were like, no. Matt was like, I'll go with you. I was like, no, we gotta stay together. We gotta stay together. And so we were like, okay, let's just go back. We calm down a little bit. We'll go back. And so we made a trek back. Now it wasn't that far away. But when oh my gosh, this was probably the most terrifying part. So we make it back to the intersection part. And so we're like, okay, let's go back. So we all start heading back. And we're pretty freaked still. We're like trying to calm down, but we're still pretty freaked. And then this happens, which I'll show you. This is the third and final footage of what we found, of what we heard during the experience. And, you know, I'll tell you this, it's right during when he says sign, and a little bit after is when you can hear something. But again, I would preface by saying these are the best, wearing earbuds with the headphones on top. It's just the best way to hear it. That's how I heard it. So, but anyways, I'll let you listen to it a couple times, and you know, I'll tell you what I think about it after.
Okay, it's the sign.
It's sign time. It's the sign. No, fuck, go.
Okay, it's the sign.
It's the sign. It's the sign. No, fuck.
You probably heard that one was a little bit more obvious. I think it was some sort of what we think was the creature's call, the creature's scream, roar, perhaps. I don't know. And so once we heard that, we hightailed it out of there. We were like, no, we ain't doing this. So, but yeah, so from that, like, so going back to the sound, it played 2 times, I think. It was a little harder to hear the first time because it was when Gavin and Matt were talking, but you could hear it first time. I said, shh, bro. I think that's what I said. I said, bro, that's the happened. And then he said, it's a sign. And then it happened again. So take it as it is. I mean, interpret it as you will. Again, I'm going to preface this by saying we did not, I'm saying preface a lot, but we literally did not make any of this up. I mean, I swear, like, we can all, like, we can make up, like, we didn't make it up. That's all. I mean, that's all I'm getting at. We really didn't make this up. We didn't fabricate it. We didn't make it up. This was all really raw. And I think you can pretty much, you can tell that from the videos that we were pretty terrified. It was one of the most scariest experiences of my life. Supernatural experiences of my life. Like, honestly, I think we were a little bit skeptical at first. A little bit. I believe Gavin, with his video that he shows at the end of the creature. He showed that he showed us that at Zaxby's, and that was pretty terrifying. And then when we actually I saw a little bit of it. Some of them saw, Gavin and Micah saw a little bit more. And then we heard all that we heard. It's just, it really is life-changing in some ways. It's just like the unexplainable that's really scary, to be honest. So, but that's the video here. I think I'll play all 3 of the sounds, but I'm gonna do it with no screen so you can't watch anything. And so this time you can just listen to it. I would encourage you to do the same thing if you can with the earbuds and the headphones, and then close your eyes even if you're still like, I can't hear anything. So I'll play those back right now, just in a row, and you can go back and you can try to listen to it just with the audio, no video. So, but yeah, that's our experience. That's a little bit of a deeper dive into what we heard at the quarry in Oak Ridge. So yeah, that's it.
shit. Oh, hell no. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Bro.
No, I heard it said, let us leave.
Play it again. Who the fuck is playing that? Who the fuck is playing that? What the fuck?
Okay, it's the time. It's the time.
It's the sign. No, fuck, go.